I'm the director of the Andrew Fuller Center for Baptist Studies at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, and a question frequently comes across my path, who on earth is Andrew Fuller? Usually he's confused with Fuller Seminary, but that's a completely different Fuller, not related at all as far as I can tell. Andrew Fuller is critical for understanding the flow of Christian history because he is the man who really stands theologically behind William Carey. William Carey was one of his close friends. They grew to have deep bonds of friendship, a friendship that was unbroken until the end of Fuller's life. And in fact, when Carey went to India as a missionary in 1793, Fuller and a number of friends in England, John Ryland, John Sutcliffe, Samuel Pearce, Fuller said that it was as if these men had discovered a gold mine. Carey had said to them, I'm willing to go down into the mine if you will hold the ropes. And Fuller said, we pledged to hold those ropes until we died, which they did. But not only were these deep bonds of friendship behind Carey, men like Fuller and so on, but also theologically. It's Fuller who is gifted by God to raise questions and then answer them regarding the hyper-Calvinism that dominated certain sectors of the Calvinistic Baptist denomination in England in the 18th century. And it was the answering of those questions in a book called The Gospel Worthy of All Acceptation, which was published in 1785, that provided the impetus behind Carey. Because Fuller argued that it is the duty of every person to whom the gospel comes to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. And it was therefore one small step beyond that Carey then argued, if it is the duty of all who hear the gospel to believe, it's the duty of the church then to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. This was something, at least in those communities, had been forgotten in the course of the 18th century. And so Fuller then, because Carey, although he is sometimes called the father of modern missions, there were European missionaries before Carey, men like the Moravians and some pietists coming out of Halle in Germany. But Carey is the man who gripped the imagination of the English-speaking world all through the 19th century. And the English-speaking nations, England and America, were the central sending nations of missions through the 19th century. And so in a real sense then, Andrew Fuller stands theologically behind the modern missionary movement. And in that sense, he's vital. He's also vital in terms of his apologetics. He was a major apologist for the Christian faith at a time when there were major challenges to Christianity in the wake of the Enlightenment. And people like Joseph Priestley, who was an amateur scientist to whom we owe discovery of a number of elements, including oxygen, also was a major theological opponent of biblical evangelical Christianity. He was a key Unitarian. The first Unitarian church in America was founded by him. And Fuller wrote a definitive response to Priestley. And Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine is remembered in the United States as one of the key figures in the American Revolution. His little pamphlet, Common Sense, 76 pages, was probably the critical popularization of the American cause during the Revolution. But Thomas Paine was also an ardent deist, and his name was regarded with abhorrence by many in the early United States because of his attacks on Christianity. The definitive response by a Baptist theologian to Thomas Paine was again that of Andrew Fuller. And so Fuller then is important for us in terms of showing us how to defend the gospel in times where the intellectual currents were averse to biblical Christianity.